Syntax is how sentences or parts of sentences fit together. The question is always this: which choice most effectively combines the sentences at the underlined portion? Let's do a simple example first. My bike is something I love. My bike is something I use every day. Well, that can be changed to my bike is something I love and I use every day. Or even better, my bike is something I love and use every day. This establishes a parallel structure. It's more concise. It fits together in a simpler way. Let's do an example from the SAT. It's often called the city of light. Paris buzzes with a special radiance day and night. Which choice most effectively combines the sentences at the underlined portion? Well, that changes to Paris, often called the city of light. Why? Because that's in a positive. In other words, it names Paris as both Paris and the city of light. It's also shorter, which is nice. It's less repetitive. Much of ancient sub-Saharan African art was made of wood. However, the Nok people in Nigeria made terracotta sculptures featuring human figures. Terracotta is clay. Which choice most effectively combines the two sentences at the underlined portion? That changes to, while much of ancient sub-Saharan African art was made of wood, the Nok people in Nigeria made terracotta sculptures featuring human figures. So most people made wooden stuff, but some people made clay stuff. So why does this work? It establishes a timeline. The timeline is just while or meanwhile, which means both things happen simultaneously. It's also a lead-in for another fact. One fact, the first one, the wooden sculptures, that's not exciting, but the more important thing is the second fact, that some people were making clay. Okay, next. Born in 1940, football player Pelé was born Edson Arantes do Nascimento. He's regarded as a Brazilian national hero and is the only football player to have won 3 FIFA World Cups. Again, which choice most effectively combines the two underlined portions? Well, this needs to be changed because it's redundant. It says the word born twice, and that's not cool. That's not concise. Change it to born in 1940, football player Pelé, parentheses, born Edson Arantes do Nascimento, is regarded as a Brazilian national hero. He is the only football player to have won 3 FIFA World Cups. Well, why does this one work? It uses the semicolon perfectly. Remember, what comes after the semicolon has to be its own sentence. That works here. So let's read just the part that comes after the semicolon. It just says, he is the only football player to have won 3 FIFA World Cups. That works. Also, his original name isn't that important. Pelé is known worldwide. His original name isn't known. So that's just in parentheses because the sentence works without it. Also, another thing is he's a national hero. Not many people are national heroes when they weren't born in that nation. I'm sure there are some, but it's kind of implied that he is Brazilian and he did great work in Brazil and he's a hero from Brazil, a hero of Brazil. So we don't need to say that he was born there, and it's just kind of implied there. Mrs. Wall announced 3 keys to success in her physics class. Those keys were attending lectures, completing homework assignments, and asking for help. Which choice most effectively combines the two sentences at the underlined portion? Well, Mrs. Wall announced 3 keys to success in her physics class. 1, 2, and 3. Right, it's a list of 3 things. So we can just put 3 things. Those are the keys. Attending lectures, completing homework assignments, and asking for help. Remember, a colon is what we use to introduce a list. Also, these sound important, and sometimes the important items are put at the end of each sentence to emphasize that. Tokyo is the most populous city on Earth. It has 38 million residents. How could we combine these? Well, let's do something differently here. Let's pull them apart. Let's line them up. Tokyo is the most populous city on Earth. It has 38 million residents. You see, first we have the noun or subject, then second we have the verb, and then third we have the other words. But it's lined up nicely. We can remove some stuff. Tokyo is the most populous city on Earth, 38 million residents. Then we can replace those other 2 words with just one word. That word is with. Tokyo is the most populous city on Earth with 38 million residents. Simple, done. Many ancient Greek lyric poems have been preserved only in fragments. This might seem unfortunate. Sometimes, though, the fragmentary nature of a poem complements its content. The first sentence tells a fact, the second says a judgment that this seems unfortunate, the third sentence is more positive. I have a problem with the last sentence, sometimes and though, right? Those two words, they seem super vague together. I hate it. Add the word although to the middle sentence, it should sound like this. Many ancient Greek lyric poems have been preserved only in fragments. Although this may seem unfortunate, sometimes the fragmentary nature of a poem complements its content. That makes sense. In 1972, President Nixon visited Beijing. This was the first step towards the normalization of relations between the United States and the People's Republic of China. Well, I'm going to change this one immediately. In 1972, President Nixon visited Beijing, which was the first step towards the normalization of relations between the US and the People's Republic of China. That was good, but the SAT wants to take it a bit further. They want to change the subject from President Nixon to his visit. President Nixon's visit to Beijing. So that would become, in 1972, President Nixon's visit to Beijing was the first step towards the normalization of relations between the United States and the People's Republic of China. That sentence has no commas, so it moves faster and it's more concise. Goodbye. Thank you for watching my SAT video. Please subscribe. Hit me up in the comments with any questions, comments, or compliments.